So let's just start by lifting and rolling the shoulders. Feet down, toes up, spread, release. Neck. Breathing in, turn the head to the left. Breathing out, turn the head to the right. Just do that a couple of times. Into the left. And out to the right. Into the left. And out to the right. And back to the centre. Lift and roll the shoulders. Just start by freeing up all the energies. And remember, you can be soft or a little bit more vigorous. And then start to slow down. And then lift and roll the shoulders. Walking on the spot sets up a vibration in the body, and that vibration goes from the feet all the way up to the head. To anybody, you're not teaching them, but if you were teaching small children or wanted to get their attention, inviting them to do this will settle their energy. And then just start to slow it down, and then just stop. Lift and roll the shoulders. Bring the hands just below the navels where your hands naturally fall. And breathing in, just we're going over the aura. Breathing in, lifting the energy up. It disconnects your energy from everything out there. It just centers you, it brings you inward, focuses you a little bit. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then just chin to chest, ear to shoulder, and then the opposite hand. So that should just be releasing somewhere around here. Breathing in, coming back up. Just ear to shoulder, chin to chest slightly, and outstretch the other arm. So again, that just is releasing. If you feel that you're stiff or you're trapped anywhere, that's very easy release. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then soften the knees. Hands up, stretch the hands. Look up as an option, if your neck allows you to look up. Breathing out, the hands. The reason I say that is that some people have a big fear about lifting their chin up. So Jo, for instance, broke her neck years ago, a friend's sister. So for her, lifting her neck up was a real trauma. So, you don't think about these things, but it's just giving people an option and breathing out. Just lift and roll the shoulders and clasp your hands behind you. Aim the knuckles to the ground, opening your shoulders. So this area here is a K27, the vitality of life, it's kidney energy, but lifting up from the chest bone, or from the sternum, is uplifting for the boot, and there's a back bend, and then just come to upright, and then release. Just circle the wrists one way, circle the wrists the other way, and then clasp your hands together. I can't articulate what you do, but hopefully you'll know. It's just opening up lungs, sinus, just opening up the energy. You can go the other way. Just hopefully, I don't know what you'd call this. So the cat's cradle when you were children and used to have those.
That's used to turn out the other way, isn't it? It's wiggling.
Wiggling.
I think it's build a bridge and get over it.
All these little childhood things, and then just release, and then just. I've forgotten about them actually.
Yes, until someone reminds you.
It reminds you, yes. And then just soften the knees, hands up, option to lift up your chin or not, stretch up, and then head upright, whatever. A lateral stretch as we go one side. Your head should be between your hands, upright, and I see that mine isn't quite. Then to the other side, which means just stretching your arms, and then come up to the centre. And then breathing out, lower your hands as you turn to look over one shoulder. Breathing in, raise your hands as you come back to the centre. And breathing out as you lower your hands to go to the other side. So that's your lateral and your rotation. And thumbs together as you just sway from side to side. Really just press your feet down. We've done a back bend. And then just circle the wrists down, and we're going to come to a forward bend as we slide the hands down to the shins. Press your hands into the shins, half lift, and just lift up your perineum, engage your lower abdominal muscle back towards your spine. Breathing out, soften. Breathing in, half lift, and stay here as you breathe out. Soften the knees, press your feet down, roll up to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders. Step with your feet a little bit apart, and we come to look at the joints in this very universal Eastern practice. We call it flying, but I'm sure it won't be. So just going through the body, as we're bending our knees, you've got the weight going through the feet and the ankles. The knees are bending, of course, the hips are moving. You're stinging up on the muscles here. As you open out, you're going across here, the shoulders, the elbows. You can keep your elbows bent if your shoulders are stiff. Your wrists can sway, just go through the fingers. It's such a brilliant movement for moving energy through the body. And then just breathe and relaxed. Lift and roll the shoulders. So for irritation, stress, anxiety, this works on the liver and the gallbladder meridians. And again, I'm not very good at articulating, but hands up, back, cross, up, back, cross the other way, up, back, cross one way. If you go wrong on your crossing, really don't worry about it, because this is releasing tension. It's almost shaking out energy through your hands. And then just sway hands. I keep thinking I've closed the door, and I have, and yet I can still feel it.
Is that the other doors open?
Both the rooms have got heaters, including the bathroom get heaters. I never know whether to put them on or not. Just say if you're cold, because you're on the direct line of coldness, of draft. And then sleep to the sun. Hands together, come to the top of the mat. Soften the knees, circle the hands up to where you want, looking up or straight ahead, your choice. But now bring your head to upright. Soften the knees as you bend them and lower down forwards, hands to either side of your feet. Step or slide your right foot back and stretch the right leg out for a nanosecond, and then lower the right knee. Toes of the right foot can be tucked under or flat. Modern day practice tends to be flat. And then slide the left leg back, you're on all fours. Tummy in, and just stretch out. This should be helpful for your back. Tummy in, perineum engages up. Your hips don't have to touch your heels, so it's you choose, and your elbows can be straight or bent. They can be on the floor or off the floor, so there should be a sweet spot that feels just perfect for your back. It's beginning to be calming for the nervous system. It's beginning to focus the breath towards the back. It's stretching out the back. It's stretching out the lower back. It's extended child's pose, swan sometimes. These poses have different names. And then breathing in, coming back to all fours. Just some classic dipping the back, looking up, and breathing out, rounding the back. A couple of times to your own breath pattern. And normally you initiate the movement from the tailbone in both directions. But if you want more of a curve in your back, you can imagine a magnet being on the centre of your back and just lifting you up. Then come back to neutral back position. Move your hands to the left, and that will give space for your right foot to slide up. And then bring your hands to either side of your right foot and just come into stretching out your right hip. Your right knee can go beyond the 90-degree angle because you're supporting your body weight. If you weren't supporting it, then that would be a bit of a problem because you'd be too much weight bearing. But now bring your right knee back to that 90 degrees because you're going to tuck your left toes, tummy in, and perineum engages. And again, choose, you might want to bring your right foot slightly closer to your left knee to soften the gap, lift your left knee and step or slide your left foot to your right foot. Hands on the shins, half lift. Breathing out, soften in. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. And then breathing in, soften your knees, press your feet down, and you can use your hands as an option to guide you to upright. And as you breathe out, lift and roll your shoulders. And then breathe in, raise your hands up, option to look up or not. Stretching your thumbs, stretching your fingers, and then just head upright as you circle your hands down. Lift and roll your shoulders, hands behind your back, open at your heart, open at your shoulders. You're giving space for your abdominal organs. And then release your hands, soften your knees, slide the hands down backs of the legs to the floor. And then slide your left foot back, stretch it out, and lower your left knee to the ground. Slide your right knee back. And then come once more, toes can be tucked under or flat. When you have your toes tucked under, it stabilises your back, but modern practice tends to be flat. Bottom towards your heels, stretching out again. Tummy or lower abdominal muscles come in towards the spine, 10% of your capacity, 20% maximum. Perineum engages up. And then just coming back to all fours. This time you're neutral, your bottom is up in the air. And this is a really bizarre practice, it's called Ashwini Mudra. So you tense your perineum, which is much easier in this position. If your bottom gets involved, fine, but it doesn't need to, and release. Tense and release. Tense and release. This is setting up a peristalsis movement. So it's toning your digestive tract almost all the way through. It's setting up a wave, tonal wave. Very healthy. You'll see horses doing this. But it's a natural toner. It activates one of the base energy points, which is an energy seal in the body, very powerful, called the Muladhara chakra, and then just release. And then just sway your bottom from side to side. So if you've got stiffness in the lower back, as you sway your bottom, say to the left, just slightly look over your right shoulder. Come back to neutral with the head and the bottom, and then sway your bottom to the right and look slightly over your left shoulder. So if you were looking down on yourself, you would be a bit like a fish as it swims. And then you can increase that by, as you sway your bottom to the left, you can bring your left shoulder slightly to the centre, just open up the left side, come back to the centre, bottom to the right, and activate your right arm, right shoulder slightly in towards midline. And you can just feel yourself just beginning to stretch in a slightly different way. It's almost like one of the very first, like with like fish, so almost like prehistoric type movement. It's almost the basic connection to an ancient movement. Then coming back to the centre. Either dip your back as we looked at before, looking up and rounding. And either do that again, or there's an option as you round your back to tuck your toes under and spread your fingers and come into the downward dog. Do realise this is not going to be universal, this is optional. Your feet can be wider than hip width apart. And bend your knees, lengthen your back, and then straighten your knees, walk the dog. The heels don't have to touch the ground, and then you come back to all fours onto joining. Everybody should be on the same page now. And you move your hands to the right. That will give space for your left foot to come up. Hands to either side of your left foot. Stretch into the left hip. Feel that your back is in one line and the back of your neck's long, you're looking down. But then bring your knee back to that 90 degrees to support your left leg. Tummy in, perineum engages. You can tuck your right toes under. You might want to bring your right knee slightly closer. Lifting up the right knee and stepping your right foot to your left foot. Hands onto the shins. Half lift. Breathing out to soften in. Breathing in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften your knees, press your feet down and roll up to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then raising your hands up. And circle your wrists down. I'm going to do another round, but I'm going to do it at a normal pace. Option, of course, not to do downward dog, but to do cat-cow. Lift and roll your shoulders. So this will be slightly quicker. Hands together. Soften your knees, hands up. As you breathe in, breathing out. Soften your knees, hands down to either side of your feet. Step back with your right foot. Step back with your left foot. You're in a straight line. Instantly lower your knees to the ground. Bottom goes towards the heels. Breathing in, come to all fours. Option here to do cat-cow, dipping the back and rounding, or rounding the back, coming to downward dog. Feel that you can widen your feet, bring your feet closer to your hands. Option to walk the dog by bending one knee and then the other knee. Extend both knees, tummy in, bottom high, and then bring both knees back down to the ground. Hands go to the left, right foot goes up, tummy in, hands to either side of the right foot. If you're wobbly, move your right foot slightly to the right as you breathe in and kneel up. Open the hands, the palms, looking forwards or up, your choice. Breathing out, lead with the chest to come forward to hands to either side of the right foot. Tuck your left toes, tummy in, perineum engages as you lift your left knee and step or slide your left foot to your right. Hands together on your shins, half lift, breathing out, soften in. Breathing in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees, press your feet down and roll up, bringing your hands up, all in one movement this time. Breathing out, lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders, clasp your hands behind you, open your chest, look up as an option, head upright, separate your hands, slide your hands down back to your legs to the floor, step back with your left foot, right foot, nanosecond in a straight line, both knees go to the ground. Bottom goes towards the heels as you stretch out. Breathing in, coming to all fours, either cat-cow, which is dipping and rounding, or just round by tucking your toes, tummy in, perineum engages upwards. Coming to your downward dog, feet slightly apart. Walk the dog as an option by bending one knee and then the other.
Extend both legs, your heels don't have to touch the ground, press your thumb and your second finger down. And then breathing out, you'll meet up on all fours. Hands to the right, left foot comes up, hands to either side of the left foot. Just stretch into the left hip, bring your hip, left leg back to that 90 degrees, tuck your toes, the right foot under, lift your right knee, tummy, perineum in, the delta plus engaged. Right foot to left foot, hands on the shins, half lift. Breathing out, soften in. Breathing, half lift. Stay here if you breathe out. Breathing in, press your feet down, roll up and standing.
Hands up. Breathing out. Lower down. Lift and roll your shoulders. Come to standing, feet hip width apart, hands on the waist. Just enjoy, shoulders are away from the ears. Just enjoy gathering your breath. And then just slide hands down the shins. Bring your hands to the centre of your body and then just very gently shift weight from side to side. Come to the centre. Move your right hand slightly to the left. Your left hand goes on your waist and open up, almost like a twist to the left. Chin goes to chest. And then relax back down. Both hands come to the centre. Sway slightly from side to side. And then perhaps your left hand slides slightly to the right. Your right hand goes on your right waist. Chin goes to chest to protect your neck. Look up behind you or look towards your right shoulder. Lower your right hand. Come to the hands of the centre. Just sway just very gently from side to side. And then what I call heel to your feet. So toes come in, heels come in. And when you feel that your feet are comfortable hip width apart, then bend your knees, press your feet down, roll up to standing. Lift and roll the shoulders. Breathing in, turn your head to the left. Breathing out, turn your head to the right. In to the left. And out to the right. Come back to the centre. Just regroup your energy by hands under the navel, the dantian or hara. Breathing in, just over your head. Hands together. And then come down to sitting with your legs in front of you. When you've been shopping or you're in very busy places over Christmas and you've interacted with a lot of people's energy, it can be for certain people quite exhausting to have that. And so that just regrouping your energy just kind of protects you. And another thing that you can do is imagine yourself in a triangle or a pyramid, either with green light around you or with mauve light. And if you think back to Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling has Harry in an invisible cape. It's the same sort of thing. I'm convinced if you read through parts of her books that some of the things she mentions, I think you've definitely got knowledge in some kind of other world. She mentions a few things, I think, okay. But that is quite useful. And I did that at an airport. Very crowded, very stressful. And I just imagined myself in a triangle, so it must lift you because you occupy that pyramid-y triangle. And everybody just walked around me. So whether it was psychological or not, I don't know. You've got to be in the zone.
Sure you didn't have a scary look on your face.
Maybe afterwards.
like my aunt, Hal Palage, telling me that one way to get rid of people on the internet was just to scream. Just scream. Yeah, I thought, yeah.
It go down well.
Yeah.
And then the white coats will be coming out.
Yes.
That would feel like screaming in airports.
Yes. Yeah, it happens you do it to the wrong person, that you suddenly get just a
What's on the nose?
Yeah, you just get
Especially with my 8-hour cream that I just bought, used, was sticking out of my little plastic bloody bag, and the woman was like, Hitler. And I Take it out and you can't take it with you.
Oh.
Yeah, a bit
It's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
To chuck
They
away.
post it home to me.
Oh,
Oh,
do they?
oh, do
I think they do that now at
So you
Heathrow.
have to pay for postage, so do you?
But anyhow, it's better than losing it completely.
Yeah, because it's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
It's on a mission.
Oh. So,
You look dodgy.
oh dear, just lifting up. The hands either side, if you lift up, and then tummy in, and just very gently slide your hands to where they comfortably go. This purely reflects anatomy. You've got short arms, they'll go to there. If you've got longer arms, you'll go down a bit further. You can hold your big toe down. You can, it just is entirely to
I
where
really get to my feet.
you are.
Please do. I've got long arms. I've got short arms, so that's my excuse. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with, I think it's purely anatomy, but I'm not going to keep you here for too long. Just lifting up and come to a double V, doesn't matter which side. Perfect hip health here. Over Christmas we should be sitting like this, which I think is impossible. You can have an option to put a cushion underneath your lifted bottom. Just again, hands to either side of you. And then there will be an angle. So my knees are going to the right, so I will turn to the right, if that makes sense. It feels good. And then just walk forward. You can stay upright, or you can come down. Very good for the hip. You can make fists with your hands to rest your forehead, or if you want to come sprawling down, you can come down further. It's almost like a variation on pigeon. It's not. It's called deer. I don't know why it's called that, but anyway. You're coming forward. It's quite nice for your hips. Tummy in. It's a slight rotation. It's almost like a head to knee pose. And then to come out of that, again, tummy or lower abdominal muscles slightly come in towards the spine, perineum lifts, and then walk back. But before you unravel, just lifting up, and then breathing in, just raise. Legs go to the right with the right arm. Look at your thumb, and then just release the hands. Just hands to either side, lift up, and then slightly lean back to lift your legs. And just before we go to the other side, just rub your legs and cat, and we'll do that again. Again, if you want to cat, that's fine. Whatever works for you, that's skin brushing aspect.
Gorillas.
Yes. But we are mechanically, our physical aspect is not dissimilar. Really. And then just hands to either side, lean back, double V to the other side. One side will inevitably going to feel
Yeah.
better than the other.
Mine's worse this way.
Easy the other way.
Yeah, I know.
So I think it's interesting as a measure of how quickly we can go off, how we can lose mobility. We don't realise. I mean, I'm not, you can lose mobility you don't think you have. And just lifting up. Just turn slightly towards, so if you're going left, it will be to the left side. And then again, walk your hands forward, lead with the chest. You can either come right down, you can stay up, you can have fists with your hands, you can rest your head on a forehead on a bolster. It's where it works for you. It's coming forward, so calming for the nervous system. It's a slight rotation. So that's one of the back movements that we need to make. It's good for the hips. It's a little bit like a pigeon on this side, but not quite so much weight. Back of the neck is extended.
which allows blood to flow up into the head. It ticks quite a few boxes. But then just tummy in, perineum engages up, or lower abdominal muscles engage, and then just come walking back.
And just hand up. Raising the eyes up to look at your thumb releases the eyes from the stress centres of the brain, so it's like a mindfulness exercise. Your perspective subtly alters. Lower the hand, lean on your hands to come back, to lift your knees and then to straighten them out again. And then just again, rub, pat, wherever you want to. My uncle on occasion used to work with criminal psychologists, psychiatric doctors. Psychiatrists. And trying to profile weird people, other people, and all kinds of different people, like a lot of criminal minds, but this was, and there was one particular weirdo who had a fetish for shiny trousers, and in those days apparently police stations used to have police, they used to press their trousers and the navy blue was shiny. And this man had such a fetish, he used to literally walk into a police station and salivate over all the young men in police uniform. And they just used to arrest him and sort of say, well, on your way, because they couldn't really, you hadn't done anything, just like, just get lost, don't come back again, last for a week, then come back and go. It's just like, what goes through people's lives? It was rubbing, he used to get into a fetish about the shine and people rubbing their legs as well. Just some very weird people around. Used to get involved in other things like terrorists and cruel drug programs, but this is the more fun side, the more wacky weirdo side. There was another weirdo who was quite well known, who murdered women and dissolved their bodies in the bath. And I think he walked in, he was trying to get rid of one body, it was like half dissolved bath, because if you don't get your acid, if you bath materials, it might melt the bath as well. It's just like, what's the matter with people? Oh dear. And then, I don't often do this, but in the same way that standing forms the base of all standing poses, where we stand and lift and roll our shoulders, that's Tadasana. The sitting pose equivalent is Dandasana, so everything from seated comes from this. And we don't often do this, so flesh out from under the bottoms, press your hands down, so lift and roll, press your hands down, tummy in, perineum engages, lift up, and from that basis, all your seated poses come. We don't often do that. And in yoga therapy, it's often it's permitted to not be so strict with the hands, but just to have them relaxed. But I just wanted to point out that that's what we do. So this is strengthening for the back, but I'm only going to go part way because too much and it's not strengthening. So bend one knee, bend the other. Just rub around the knees a couple of times. Clasp your hands underneath your thighs. Sit up. That might be enough for you, because to sit up with a straight back, you've got to engage your abdominal muscles to support you. You can walk your feet slightly closer, and your tummy muscles will engage more. That might be enough. If you've got a weak back or your back's paining you, then you don't want to go any more than this. You might want to lift your feet up, and that really brings your tummy in. The final one, which is boat, I suggest not doing, but I just wanted to demonstrate it for anyone who's feeling super strong today, and that is one leg. I can't do that, but just wanted to say, and then
used to be able to.
You still can.
You still can.
To come out of that, it pulls on the back if your core's not strong. Then just slightly feet forward.
My stomach muscles so much I wouldn't be able to.
And then just come forward.
And then, of course, the other one,
Carol's very good at this actually, is this, where you bring your legs back. You don't really use your core, because my core's not great. You just almost tummy in, and then just, it's not, I'm not using my core is useless. It's just a balance on my bottom, and yet I can't
I
balance my
couldn't do
feet.
because my arms aren't long enough to reach my legs outstretched.
It's hard when you're cool, though.
It is,
But
but
you're pulling a step that you've actually got a cool.
No, I don't. I said that the other day. I said, what's that?
some muscles
It is there somewhere, but well lost now.
are totally shot, and others are so. But I can't. I haven't got a core. I would say I haven't got a core. It was really what I have got was I think a cesarean wipes that out.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I've had abdominal surgery twice, so that would probably be.
Yeah, it makes
It's
it
my
nice.
excuse anyway.
Yeah. I've just got lots of fat around mine.
No,
so
I've got
that's
that
my
too.
excuse. it's loss, never to be seen again.
And then just coming to life, I showed a family photograph of her great-great-grandmother, and there was a very lovely young woman standing next to great-great-grandmother. And I said to her, "You're very sad that she died very young." And he said, "Well, how did she die?" And I said, "Well, she died from childbirth." I wanted to say, but that doesn't happen today, it really doesn't happen today, because, then we'll put you off. And then just knees up, feet hip width apart, palms down. Just start by moving your head from side to side. So this is freeing off the neck. And just notice if your shoulders are up towards your ears, in which case just subtly move them away from the ears. And then feet out towards the edge of the mat, and this very simple somatic movement of dropping the knees to one side, your hip will lift off the ground. As you breathe in, the knees come back to the centre, and breathing out, the knees drop down to the other side, and the other hip will lift. And then just gently sway from side to side, choosing how far your feet would like to be apart, how far your knees drop down. And you might notice that as you relax into the pose, your head's starting to move as well. That's fine. So yogically, your head should move away from the direction of the knees for optimal kind of movement in the spine. But if your head moves in the same direction of the knees, then that's fine too. Somatic movement is a very sensory movement. It's a whole science in that. But it's believed to bypass the mind because you sense the movement. And with the sensory aspect, mind being removed from the equation, it's calming for the nervous system. It's again like a mindfulness exercise because you're not using the mind. And then just come to the centre. Bring your feet to hip width apart. Palms are down alongside you. And just a couple of pelvic tilts. So if you want to hold the edge of the mat and pull the mat towards your feet, you're welcome to do that. You'll get more of a movement in the lower back. But if you want to just have palms down, that's fine too. So this up and down movement is moving along the lower lumbar vertebra. That's kind of obvious. It's kind of targeting the top of your bottom sacral area and your L4, L5 lumbar vertebra, which is one side of the work. But as you flatten your back to the ground, your upper back, not your upper back, your lumbar vertebra going slightly higher up will also be involved in the equation here. And then just relax. Leaving your right foot where it is, pick up your left knee. If you want a core exercise, then your hands will hold the knee very lightly and your tummy does the work. If you want a hugging exercise, then just hug your knee in. And start to move your left knee in either a square or circle. Circle is yogic, square might be your choice, whatever works. And your circle or square can be small, or it can get larger. Just try it. This is an almost perfect hip movement, keeping your hip flexible, your thigh in the hip socket flexible, and then just circle that knee in the opposite direction.
And then drop your hands underneath your left thigh, clasp them. Don't gently raise your left foot up to the ceiling. You can keep a bend in your left knee. Extend your left heel and then go in the opposite direction, or just relax your foot. Just extend the heel again a couple of times. This is a semi-inversion on your left side. All kinds of benefits to relaxing, helps the digestive system, the nervous system. You're boosting your circulation by moving your foot. And then just start to circle your left ankle a few times in one direction. If you want to opt for a square, that's fine. You need to only be up, legs up the wall like this for 5 minutes to derive countless benefits. Resting for the legs, good for the endocrine system. Circle your left ankle in the opposite direction. And then bend the left knee into the chest, hold the left knee, hug it in towards you as you breathe out. Still holding it, let it go to arm's length. You can still keep a bend in your elbows. And just do that a few times to your own breath pattern. You're almost massaging your lower back and the top of the sacral area as you're pulsing. So the weight of your body is doing the massage for you, but it's connecting into the vata element. The seat of vata is the lower abdominal area. And so vata out of sync is, results in pain. So this is a pain relief movement. Very calming. Even though we're upside down, it's almost like an upside down child, so it is calming for the nervous system. And then just holding your leg, releasing the foot back down to the ground. And breathing in, just raise the arms above you. Just open up under the arms. Your elbows can be bent.
My water bottle.
I've gathered that. And again, opening up under the arms is stretching out, giving space for the upper lymphatic system. But again, that can be quite tough, so you can always bend your elbows towards each other to limit that. But we're not going to stay here very long. As we breathe out, then start to lower the arms back down to the ground. Leave the left foot where it is, but feel free to adjust it, and then pick up your right knee to your chest. The body takes a little bit of time to adjust and start to relax and release, because the back, there's some very heavy duty muscles along the back supporting our skeleton basically, and tenseness and one thing or another, they can take quite some time to really release. So just find the optimal spot for you before you start circling your right knee in one direction. You might want to start with small circles, and then you've got the invitation to explore, to go a little bit bigger. But again, whatever feels nice for you is going to be perfect for you. This is such a perfect hip health movement. And then when you're ready, start to circle the right knee in the opposite direction. You can use a square if you like that shape, or a squirrel. Just very gently come to the centre with your knee. Drop your hands underneath your right thigh, and then very gently raise your right leg up to up the ceiling. You can keep a bend in your right knee and start to extend the right heel.
If you want to point your right big toe, that's fine. Just caution not to get cramp. So you're beginning to extending the heel is excellent. You'll feel it in the calves. This is the basis of anti-DVT on a long flight perhaps or travel. You're boosting circulation. That's what I wanted to get to. And then just gently circle the right ankle in one direction. Circle the right ankle in the opposite direction. If you were on a serious flight, you would do this optimally sort of 10 times. If you were on a really long flight, about 25 times. It's just so nice to get circulation around the body. And then just very gently bend the right knee into the chest, hold the right knee, and in your own time, breathing out, hug the right knee in as much as you want to, or as little as you want to. Breathing out, just let the, so breathing in, let the knee drift away from you to arm's length. Breathing out, hug the right knee into the chest. If you want a core action, additional movement aspect to this, you hold your knee very lightly and your tummy is going to do the work. That's a really different feel. It's not so comforting, but it is more yogic. Or somewhere in between, you choose. Very gently. Hug the right knee into the chest. Hold the right knee with the right hand. Might drift slightly out to the right. Bring the left knee in. Hug the left knee in with the left hand. So both knees are into the chest. And then just very gently rock from side to side. You're rocking across the back of the head. You're rocking across the back of the bottoms, top of the bottom, sacral area, lower back. Almost going all the way across the back, just massaging your back. The back is a central part of us. Your health, your spine reflects your health, it reflects your youth and vitality. You're as young as your spine is flexible, is the saying. And I think that was Socrates, and then coming back to the centre, coming to however you want to come to a seated position. So yogically you're supposed to roll to the right away from your heart and then come up on your own time, but if you want to rock backwards and forwards and come up to a seated position, because I'm so very aware, you said 1 o'clock,
Oh yes, don't worry too much.
and I haven't got the time for, so then just come to sitting up, hands on the knees, breathing in, option to lift the chest and the chin up, but if not, then just look forward, breathing out, chin to chest. So you're just going to wave through the spine a few times. And then come to stillness. Take your right hand and just block with your right thumb the right nostril and take a few breaths just only through your left nostril. If your nostrils are blocked up, then just release a little bit so that you're not cheating, but just a few breaths just through your left nostril. This is the very beginning of preparation for something called alternate nostril breath or Nadi Shodhana. It's balancing for the brain balancing the body and mind. Just release your hand for a moment. Now, in yogically, you're supposed to use the same hand, the right hand, and block the left nostril with the ring finger. If you want to use your other hand, that's fine. You're going to now only breathe through the right nostril. If you subtly lift the corners of the mouth, you'll feel the breath going towards the back of the throat, into the head. That's an option. And then drop your hands to your knees. You can do Jnana Mudra, thumb to second finger. Hand down is gesture of knowledge, hands up is gesture of consciousness. Either a Jnana Mudra. It's quelling the ego. That's what it's supposed to be, so to unite with the world. And chin to chest as you have a thought for the day. And then have a favourite colour of the day or colour of the day. And just wrap yourself, that cotton wool, in your colour for the day ahead, giving you protection. Only positive things can come in. And then just finally chin to chest. Hands to heart. And take a bow for yourself.